I just want to begin with that phrase you chose, criminally vague, to describe the guidance that you and we, the country, has been getting from the president's coronavirus task force.
Well, thanks for having me, Lawrence. Listen, we have a lot of smart people in Connecticut, but the CDC exists for moments like this. The CDC exists so it can pool its export resources and provide a state like Connecticut specific guidance on how we reopen our state safely. And they have not done that. Now, the reason they have done that isn't because they didn't come up with a document that tells states how to open daycare centers and when to open schools and when to close a school when tests suggest that there's a hot spot. No, in fact, they developed that guidance. It's the White House that is refusing to allow that guidance, that document, to be sent to states. And why is that? Well, it's because President Trump just wants to play armchair quarterback. He doesn't actually want to be in a position where he would have to take responsibility for decisions made about when schools open or close. And so the document that we have, the plan to reopen America, is criminally vague. It doesn't have any specifics about how you open in this kind of setting or when you close a certain set of businesses when there reemerges infections in a city or county. And so I just don't understand why we aren't getting more help from the CDC now. And I guess the reason I do understand it, it's because of this directive from the White House.
And when you say criminally vague, I assume it's because that vagueness can lead to thousands of deaths.
No, of course. And again, we have smart people in Connecticut, but we don't have the expertise in our state, nor do 49 other states have the expertise to, make these very difficult and subtle choices about how you open a daycare center and exactly what protocols you need to have in place to keep those kids and those parents safe. That expertise resides at the CDC. And the fact that this administration is not allowing the CDC to provide us with that guidance because President Trump just doesn't want to have his hands on the response so that he can blame everybody else. That is not just criminally vague, that is criminally negligent, because ultimately it's going to result in potentially thousands of my constituents dying because we didn't have the benefit of that expert advice from the federal government.